I've been all over this great country, small towns and big cities, visiting factories and workshops, searching for the soul of America. And you know what? I found it everywhere. So sit back and relax, because we've got it made in America. About 40 miles north of Hollywood, a town founded on dreams, is Palmdale, California. A town where dreams actually come true. Dreams of flying, that is. Here on the southern edge of the Mojave Desert, the presence of Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, and other high flyers make this the aerospace capital of America. This sun-drenched desert is also where you'll find the U.S. Pole Company, which spends its days making street lamps that brighten our nights. Company President Joe Strauss had been a 20-year veteran of the lighting industry when he founded U.S. Pole in 1984. Back then, he and 4 employees started off making just poles, but soon expanded into making lighting as well.
We had some competition who was making lighting, try to compete with us. We decided we better compete.
Now 275 U.S. Pole employees turn out a wide variety of commercial fixtures that you see in shopping centers, in parks, along roadways, and almost anywhere people gather. Given how tall the poles are, you can imagine how big the factory is. From ground level, industrial lamps may not look much more complicated than poles with light bulbs stuck in their mouths, but that's hardly the case. Just ask lighting engineer Tim Caraher.
We start with the lamp, and then we design the facets on the reflector here to throw a specific distribution on the ground.
So you can pinpoint the light?
Absolutely.
Today, they want no light pollution.
Right.
So we designed these reflectors where all the light is directed down.
So you can step out of your house, even though it's a full city, you look up and you can see the stars.
That's what,
Right?
that's what they
That's
want
the
to try
goal,
to do.
yes.
Modern times, modern problems, modern solutions.
This is a new product design working with high-power LEDs.
LEDs, those are tiny little lights, aren't
You
they?
gotcha. They're very bright. This is actually going to be a spotlight when we're all finished with it.
Are these the lights themselves?
Yes, they are.
No kidding, they're tiny little things, huh?
And then all this is built to get rid of the heat. The first design criteria when you're working with LEDs is get rid of the heat. And then everything will go well from there.
It says right here, made in USA.
You betcha.
Welcome back to U.S. Pole, maker of the products that take the dark out of the night. It behooves a company that's vertically oriented to be vertically integrated as well. Design, engineering, tooling, casting, and finishing are all done right here, and for a very good reason.
We don't want to tell a customer we have to wait for a part from a supplier. We are the supplier. We had a competitor that took 2.5 years to make an arm like this. We shipped this to Connecticut in 2 weeks after we got an order.
Why did you go to poles and not, like, say, roller skates or hang gliders?
Poles were easier to make.
It's a surprise to learn that making a giant pole into a giant lamp entails an awful lot of artistry and can be done using a number of techniques, like spinning. Luis Romero is the factory foreman.
They're taking that flat piece of aluminum and forming it around a hard tool or a mold. And that's how you come up with this shape.
Oh, and he moves it down a notch.
Yeah.
We went from this to this. It's like a big Frisbee. You guys play with these at lunchtime? Throw them around? Better not say the boss is here, Jaime.
You want to try it?
Sure, yeah. Ready? A little bit more? Okay.
The natural.
Even here, an outsider can sometimes see things from a fresh perspective, leading to opportunities that insiders might miss.
You know, when you're in the airport and the guy's yakking on his cell phone, have these so you can come down like this. So you can talk on your cell phone in here without disturbing everybody else.
We'll rent them.
Yeah.
In the casting area, the most intricate lamp designs begin in the sand. This is special sand, though, called Elvian. It's packed into the mold with an air rammer.
It has angular angles, so it'll bind together.
Oh,
to really hold.
the actual crystals.
Right.
First one half, then the other.
I wish I'd had one of those in a sandbox when I was a kid.
Yeah, that would have really done a good job,
I
huh?
would have spent a lot more time there.
When the sand is tight enough to hold its shape, a small hole is made.
That's where you're going to pour the metal in?
Yeah, got to leave a little spout so the material doesn't overflow.
What you don't see is more complicated than what you do see.
Whenever we need a hollow part, we need to have a core inside there so that the metal flows around it.
The sand has to be packed just so. Once the pattern is removed, the core is laid in. Now the mold is ready for the metal. Aluminum ingots are melted in a crucible that reaches more than 1,200 degrees. Pouring has to be done evenly, but also quickly to keep the holes from clogging.
Same thing with cement. You can't put a little and let it dry, and then it's all got to be done at the same time, same temperature.
That's right.
10 minutes of cooling is usually enough to come out of the mold. After a good cleaning, it's time to assemble the pieces.
That's good.
There's something really important to consider before welding a 16-foot pole: physics.
With a soft material and heat being applied to it, there's a tendency to sag if you do it horizontally.
That's why U.S. pole ceiling is 30 feet high. And there's a system for vertical access. The result is a pole that stands straighter than Mrs. Hunyadi in her Army uniform. Each cast aluminum piece has to be trimmed, welded, sanded, and painted. Then the fixtures are wired, tested, and completed.
I see what they're putting together. This is the reflector.
They're putting
isn't it?
together the optical systems.
Oh, see, I call it a reflector. You call it an optical
well,
system.
you're right. It's a reflector.
There you go.
At last, the question arises: how in Hades do you ship something this big? The answer is obvious. A cardboard box, of course. And don't forget the bubble wrap. Lots and lots of bubble wrap. In a place like this, it's especially important to remember what Dad taught you. Last one to leave turns out the lights.